This is the image the government wants to project. A conference, a party full of energy and making announcements like the construction of 3 new towns which will begin before the next general election.
We will mobilise the full power of the state to build a fresh generation of new towns and restore the dream of home ownership to thousands of families right across our country.
But 1 year in, this is a party flagging in the polls, and this is a conference shaped, in part at least, by others.
Reform for us will be like Thatcher on steroids.
With reform, it's even worse. Nigel Farage's reform would drag Britain back into decline.
And this morning, the Prime Minister launched his most scathing attack on reform and their policy to scrap indefinite leave to remain.
I do think that it's a racist policy. I do think it's immoral. It needs to be called out for what it is.
And do you think that Reform UK is trying to appeal to racists?
No, I think that there are plenty of people who either vote reform or are thinking of voting reform who are frustrated.
Labour MPs called the plans racist. These hysterical meltdowns are because they can feel their power disintegrating.
Within hours, Reform had published this video and said their plan will ensure only British people can access welfare and that migrants contribute to society. The slogan of this conference is Renew Britain. The feeling among some here is it's this party that needs the refresh. What's your warning shot then to the Prime Minister?
Well, look, I think he has to be Labour. I think he has to rediscover his hinterlands.
And if he doesn't, what then?
Well, I think, listen, it doesn't matter what I say. I think if he doesn't...
He does. You hold an awful lot of money, which is very important to Labour.
Indeed, indeed. But what's more important to them is what do the public think of them, the votes that are out there. If they don't rediscover their hinterland and understand who they represent, who are they representing, if they don't do that, then people will leave them in droves.
It's not been a great first year for you lot, is it? Can you turn it around?
I completely disagree, actually. If you look at what we've delivered in our first year...
The polls disagree with you.
2 million more appointments we promised on the NHS, we've delivered more than 3 million. 1,000 more GPs we promised, we've delivered 2,000. Waiting lists are falling for the first time in 15 years. We've delivered the biggest expansion of carers allowance
The voters don't seem to agree with you.
And that's just on health and social care. Look, the challenges in our country are enormous. We always knew that confronting those challenges would be hard. That's why we wanted to win the election and be in government.
So how do you turn it around then? How do you make sure the next 4 years that voters listen to
about this, right? It's about us talking about all of the things that matter the most to the British public. We've got to keep delivering. We've got to, really tackle the cost of living crisis, tackle the illegal migration, and give the voters what they voted for, which is that change.
How's your leadership bid going, Andy? Are MPs still calling you?
Calling him and urging the Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham to challenge the Prime Minister, he said this week. And questions over that challenge now loom large over Liverpool. You're only a year in, and already you've got people talking about a new leader in your party.
We've got a leader, we've got a great Prime Minister, and he's going to be leading us into the next general election.
Coming into this conference, all the talk has been not about any of those things that you want to talk about, but new leader.
Oh, look, we have this every conference, right? There's talk about a new leader. We have a great Prime Minister. We have a great, Manchester Mayor and Andy Burnham. Both of them are doing really great jobs.
But that's where you want him to stay?
Well, he's doing a great job in Manchester and there's no vacancy.
Are we going to turn this around? Is Keir the right person? I think with Keir, I've worked with him. If by the time we, sometime next year we haven't turned it around, I think this is the sort of person who know actually in the interest of the party and the country, he'll make the decision about whether he stays on or not, to be honest.
Party conference was once a time of year political parties could guarantee coverage and attention. With flagging polls and questions over his leadership, a quiet conference and the fewest headlines possible is what some in his government are desperate for.
Well, with me now is the Housing Minister, Matthew Pennycook. What's racist about scrapping indefinite leave to remain?
Because it is a policy that is, in effect, advocating the retrospective deportation of people purely on the basis of their country of origin. And that will mean, because if I'm following things carefully, although their policy changes by the day it would seem, the exclusion of EU citizens and I think Ukrainian refugees, that we're talking about many hundreds of thousands of people of African, Asian and Caribbean descent will be retrospectively deported. Now, these are people who are working in our hospitals, in our schools, they're our friends, neighbours. That will cause a huge amount of human misery. It will tear families apart and it will hit our economy. And it's very, very different from the policy that we're advocating when it comes to indefinite leave to remain.
Why is reform so popular then?
Because people are frustrated about the pace of change after 14 years of Tory failure, and I absolutely recognise and understand that. We're proud of what we've done.
You're sure they're not racist? If they're supporting a racist policy?
I don't think Reform supporters are racist. I understand their frustration. They want to see, for example, us fix a broken asylum and immigration system they inherited. We want to see us turn around and address the acute and entrenched housing crisis in England. That's what we're doing. That's what we've done over the past 14 months. It will take time, though, to see those policies come through. So I recognise the frustration.
Why would people who are not racist support something that you think is racist?
Because they want to see us secure our borders. They want to see us fix the broken asylum and immigration system we inherited. And we've taken steps in that direction. Net migration is coming down. We're securing our borders. But it takes time for the policies and the changes we've made.
Do you think any of them are racist? I mean, you're going to have to take if you're going to take them on, you're going to have to take them on, aren't you?
Well, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure there are people who hold racist views who are attracted to reform. What I'm saying to you very clearly is most reform supporters, I'm sure, are not racist, are being tempted to vote for that party out of a frustration of 14 years of stagnation and decline under the Conservatives, which will take time to turn around. But that's precisely what we've done over the past 14 months, and we'll build on that in the months and years to come.
But they're frustrated with you, aren't they, that 14 months on, the change you promised on every poster and every podium doesn't feel like it's here?
But they will feel that change in the coming months and years. Well, take housing as a good example. Made a big announcement today about bringing forward the next generation of new towns. We are determined to have spades in the ground on at least 3 new town sites in this Parliament, building on the back of our changes to the national planning policy framework.
There's not going to be many new houses in this Parliament, though.
Well, we're committed to our target of 1.5 million new homes, and those homes are starting to come through. Well,
nobody thinks you're going to hit that target. That's the problem. I mean, you know, planning approvals are really low. All the indications are you're not going to hit.
We will hit that target. Let me give you trade statistics with you. Housing starts up 29% in the second quarter of this year compared to the previous year. So there are green shoots. The changes will take time, but the effects of the policies that we have brought into force, in the case of the overhaul of the planning system just in December last year, will take time to be felt. But the general election is many years away, and people will feel the tangible benefits. Building on the changes we've already made, 5 million extra NHS appointments, a huge expansion of free childcare. I could go on.
Now, Andy Burnham, who's obviously out there saying we need to have a debate about the future of the Labour Party, is saying, how can you have a debate about the future of the Labour Party when there's a climate of fear?
I don't recognise that situation.
Well, I mean, they're saying people get drummed out of the party, MPs lose the whip. That sort of Morgan McSweeney's grip on the party and getting out the left is sinister.
That's not a characterisation of the party that I recognise. There's a party here which is in an upbeat mood, proud about the changes we've made over the past 14 months, and with a seriousness of purpose about the challenge to come. Because as the Prime Minister rightly said, we've got a real fight on our hands. It's a fight for the soul of the country. Do people want a politics of manufactured grievance, of division, of decline, which is what Reform are advocating? Look at their policies. Platforming anti-vaxxers, privatising the NHS, going over to the US to advocate for sanctions on British workers. I think, in the cold light of day, these are not policies that the British public will back.
You don't think Keir Starmer needs some charisma lessons, then?
Keir Starmer, I have heard over the last few years, time and time again, people write Keir Starmer off. He picked this party up off its knees. He delivered us a landslide victory. He'll take us into the next election, and he'll do so on the back of a string of serious achievements in housing and other areas.
Matthew Pennycook, thank you very much.
Thank you.